Welcome to another fresh edition of the Tom Green Podcast. We all know last week that Michigan, yet another top 25 on the road loss since 2006. However, we have a guest here that is from Western Michigan. Well, really from my neck of the woods, but he went to Western Michigan. So I figured I'd bring him on for him to talk a little Western. He is the original J-Bone. Not the original J-Bone, God forbid, but the original J-Bone. He is Jordan Bennett. Welcome to the show, Jordan.
How we doing, Tommy?
Pretty good, pretty good. This is the second representative of the Super League that was on my show. We've had Cody Klontz on the show a few times. So before we get started, of course, I got to ask, how do you feel your Super League team is?
You know what? I actually feel like I drafted pretty decently. Let me just pull up that fantasy team real quick.
Sure.
But I do feel like I drafted fairly well. And a few maybe picks that kind of slid out my grasp, but for the most part, I feel like I did pretty well.
Well, I had a fantasy show a week and a half ago with Robert Wilson, which I'm actually going to post on all of our league sites probably after we get done with this show. But he said I had a strong wide receiving core and then running backs I need to work on. But I had picked up James Conner for Pittsburgh yesterday because I felt that he was going to get the start over Le'Veon this week. Because it seems like every time that happens, I get screwed over by someone else in the waiver wire. So it was my turn to screw everybody over, and I did it. Hopefully.
Yeah, I've been actually pretty lazy so far with the waivers and stuff like that. But as far as I know, all my starters should be starting, ready to go. I'm not really too active on the waiver wire until after. I feel like I have a good temperature reading for who I got, though.
Definitely. So, before we get started with our Western and Lions Jets preview, we have 4 shout-outs to give. 3 of them are birthdays. One of them is a shout-out. First shout-out is to Dave Nelson. He is a season ticket holder at Michigan. He is also Kaylee and Melissa's dad. He gave me 2 tickets, of course, for a fee, to the Michigan Western game this week, and he is a fan of the Tom Green Podcast. Thank you very much, Dave. And 3 birthdays, not 1, not 2, but 3 to shout out here on the show. One of them is to Tara Brando-Sullivan. She is the daughter of Tim Brando, who I met at Michigan, Minnesota. Jordan knows I meet a lot of personalities, and he's probably got his hand, his face, the face palm thing. He's probably face palming, just shaking his head right now. I mentioned reporters and stuff. Also, another shout-out to Jenny Taft. Now he's really face-palming. Her birthday is today as well. She is hosting the show Inside Slant on Fox Sports 1. Give that a watch. As well as, and now if Jordan has not face-palmed yet, he will with this shout-out. His mom's birthday is today. Amy Bennett.
Happy birthday, Mom. Love you.
Hi, Mom! Happy birthday to Tara, Jenny, and Amy. Once again, very happy birthday to Jenny, Tara, and Amy Bennett. So, quick ad read, of course, because 3PS Mag wants us to. FanDuel and Draft. Daily, weekly, and season-long fantasy games in every sport from baseball, basketball, football, golf, and hockey. Click the banner on our 3PS Mag site to download the app and get a free entry with any deposit and win today. Available for Apple and Android devices or online. Let's hope I actually win something in DraftKings this year. I'll be sure to get Jordan and Seaberg a gift if I hit big, because Seaberg's a huge player of that, as am I. Not sure if Jordan is because he's on the show, of course. I got to give him a gift as well. So, With that being said, Michigan Western. Now, I've really classified you more as a Western guy, and it's because you've been quite critical of Jim Harbaugh. So give us your 15 seconds or even minutes of fame on that.
Honestly, the thing is with Harbaugh, I, along with maybe a handful of other people, probably 50-50 split now. The strings are starting to get a little short for patience for a lot of people. Been a little over, this is the 4th year now, and as far as I've seen, I'm not sure exactly how great Notre Dame's defensive line was supposed to be, but 4th year, and that's the offensive line we threw out. Not really impressive as far as I'm concerned. Defense has probably been what's been keeping us relevant the past year and a half or so, especially with the lack of quarterback play. So hopefully Shea Patterson can maybe get it together. He looked okay. I feel like he definitely could have had more time to throw. He would have been able to do what he's been known to do. But I don't know, not feeling too optimistic about last Saturday. I'm sure you are as well.
Yeah, and even I started to say, you know what? I'm starting to lose my patience for this. The Harbaugh honeymoon last 3 years.
Want me to give you a stat, Tom? Even though this ain't, this goes a little bit past Harbaugh, but
sure.
What's our record against ranked teams on the road?
Is it 0-17 now?
17 straight losses to road teams that were ranked. So, pretty hard to say that you become 100% relevant again with that kind of stat. I know that's not all Harbaugh's fault. Polk and Rich Rod era, that's in the past as well. But, it's just really starting to get old as a Michigan fan, losing these big-time games, as you call them.
Mm-hmm.
Egg all the time, it feels like. Now, not all of those, maybe we were favored at all, but it just feels like we definitely could have had better.
Yes, we definitely should have had some of those wins, of course, against top 25 teams. And what seems embarrassing.
Iowa.
Yes, Iowa on the road especially. That's what kind of killed that season. And even in season 1 of this show, I had said during that season that if we were going to lose a game that we weren't supposed to, it was going to be to Iowa on the road. And sure enough, I was right about that. And what seems embarrassing is that Rutgers has a top 25 or a road top 25 win in that stretch.
I tell you.
So the honeymoon is seemingly over now. Well, it is over in many people's minds, but they're still our team. We still got to support them. And Saturday, hopefully, Shea will have a great game, and hopefully we'll dethrone who Jordan's about to talk about next, the Western Michigan Broncos. So, talking about Western a little bit now, these ain't your P.J. Fleck Broncos, are they?
Nope, not quite. I'm missing the 2016 season so far in the past few years, that's for sure.
So you were at the game last week against Syracuse, even though you were not sober, as I wasn't either when Michigan was playing Notre Dame. Let's be honest.
Right.
Give me your assessment.
Gotta celebrate, right?
So Syracuse won by 11, I believe. Was it like 55-44? The final score that was.
That sounds about right. Yeah, it was definitely a barn burner. The defense was not very optional.
Well, just like when I talked about the rapid fire games last week, the big what is defense? 12. Even though we're talking about an ACC and a MAC team here, what impressed you about the Broncos in Week 1?
Well, that first half, nothing impressed me at all.
Okay.
Offense was not firing at all. Defense, they definitely looked like a very young, because we lost. I think it's we only have 5 returning starters from this past year, so it's a very young defense. The offense, definitely they have weapons, but that first half they did not look good at all. Did not look well coached. Did not look fired up for the game at all. It was not pretty. I was ready to throw in the towel for the whole season if that was going to keep up. But second half came around, third quarter. I don't know if you watched any highlights from that game, but that's probably one of the better third quarters that I've seen from a Western game in a good while. I think we scored like 28 unanswered points on them and made it like a one touchdown game when it was at one point 31-7.
So Western definitely made a comeback in the second half, but unfortunately
they did, but then they just ran out game a back and forth battle, and Syracuse definitely did have the better team towards the end. But it just frustrates me because I feel like they definitely could have won that game. Syracuse is considered, in my opinion, a bottom third ACC team. But that second half gave me some optimism going into the season, though. I'm just hoping that the defense gets a little bit together for MAC play. I'm not really expecting much, obviously, Michigan this upcoming weekend. So, John Wassink, his arm definitely got a lot better from last year after recovering from basically a blown shoulder injury, separated shoulder. And I tell you what, our number one wide receiver, he's a speedy guy. If he gets over the top, look out. He scored like 3 big-time touchdowns last weekend. So if he gets over the top of our Michigan series, he's probably going to score a few with Wassink's arm overthrowing him. Potentially, I could just be a homer saying, but who knows?
Exactly, because in your mind, even though you want to see, of course, Michigan go 11-1, but you really don't mind who wins.
I'm not expecting Western to be I just, for my personal internal temperature, I guess you could say, for watching this game, I hope it's not a close game, but I'm hoping that Western actually shows some progress, has a better effort all 4 quarters as opposed to against Syracuse, where it was just pretty flat that first half.
So you're saying your internal temperature might be...
Gotta say about his power level. It's over 9,000!
Am I right?
If it's a one touchdown game going in the fourth quarter, my emotions are gonna be something else.
They're gonna be like this.
It's over 9,000!
It's over 9,000! As my blood pressure would probably be if Michigan plays this game like they did against Akron in the last year, Brady Hoke. We don't want to remember that game.
Well, yeah, I did forget about it. Now you remind me, so thanks for that.
Yeah. So...
Anyway, action sneaks up on people.
Exactly. Maction does. How about Drake Harris a little bit? How pumped is he going to be for this, going up against his former squad?
You know, to be honest with you, I don't think... I looked for him a little bit in that Western game. I don't think he's too high on our depth chart, to be honest with you. I don't think he got 1 touch for this last game. So I'm sure he's excited to go against his old team back in the big house, but I don't know how much he's going to be honest with you. Maybe he's some guy that's going to be used as a weapon more later on throughout the year, but I did not see anything from him that first game.
Gotcha. Very interesting. So... why don't we go to our prediction here on how this game is going to go? You kind of pretty much said how you thought it would go, but to give me a score prediction, how will this game finish?
Well, I'm going to tell you how it's going to start.
Okay, fair enough.
Young defense are going to be shell-shocked by going to the stadium, and they're just going to be too overwhelmed. It's probably going to be a pretty decent blowout early on. I'm going to say at the end of the first half, it's going to be like at most 28-7, and then towards the end of the game, I feel like Michigan's got to lay off the throttle a little bit, get some of their other people and get some rotations, and we'll probably get a few big plays or so, and my final score will probably have let's make it third. Let's make it 38-14. That'll be I feel like that's a decent score that I'll be happy with.
Okay. I'm going to say...
38-14 Michigan,
38-14 Michigan. I figured that, but it's good to say that again just in case some Kalamazooers are thinking, oh, he's picking Western. No, once again, these ain't your PJ Fleck row the boaters. They're in St. Paul now.
That team, it would have been a better game, but I still don't think they would have been able to beat this year's Michigan team either. So that would have been a lot more fun, though, with that 2016 team going up against this year's Michigan team. Definitely.
Oh, man, that would have been quite an impressive game, I will say. So Michigan's a 28-point favorite against Western. I'll go with my prediction here. It's going to be kind of interesting in the first half, I think. If Western scores first, this could be a very interesting first half. However, I don't believe that's the case. Michigan's going to score first, and you're going to see, I'll say, I might actually agree with you, 28-7, 31-7, first half, maybe 35-3, something like that. Then second half, you will see the foot off the gas pedal, and maybe see our boy Ben Van Sumeren in the game, hopefully.
That would be fun.
And I'm going to say Michigan 42, Western 10.
Okay, sounds good. I don't know if I told you yet, but I'm actually going to be at that game Saturday.
Oh, boy.
Yep. Gonna be wearing my Western and Michigan apparel.
So you're gonna be half and half. Just kind of like I was at Cubs Tigers on July 4th. I had my Cubs hat on and a Tiger shirt on.
You're considered A, they're opposite leagues, and 2, Tigers are 100% irrelevant. So
yeah, but the Cubs are 100% relevant. Go Cubs, go!
You can root for your Cubbies all you want now.
Of course. So I guess you might see myself and Jordan at the game. Look for us if you're listening to the show and are planning on coming to the game. So with that being said, we both think Michigan will beat Western. Let's move on to Lions-Jets. If you don't know already, I will also be at this game. Little Monday Night Football. I figured, you know what? Why the hell not?
There you go. Hell of an opener. Monday night.
Opener, it's going to be electric. Kind of like the photos I take with all those chicks. Kind of like that type of electric. And Jordan's face palming for probably the umpteenth time this show, but you get my drift. Going to be quite electric. Jordan, give us your analysis of the Lions preseason, as I have pretty much done that exclusively on my shows.
Well, I'm going to be completely honest with you. It sounds like I'm pretty glad that I did, but I have not really watched, other than watched highlights and stuff like that, and read articles. I have not watched a single live snap of any preseason game this year. And this preseason, man, I tell you what, I hope the Lions do come out a lot more electric, as you say, start this game. And if they lose at home, national TV against the Jets, that ain't good. That ain't good at all.
Losing to the Jets just end this season, Jets. That would be bad.
That's pretty close.
Now, a good topic point of discussion is once the Lions cut their 53-man roster, they have actually just waived Anthony Zetto, who is a local product here from Michigan, Ogemaw Heights. Give me your thoughts on that.
It's very strange. How many pass rushers do we have on this team? Other than Ziggy, not very much.
Right.
Other than maybe they plan on maybe picking somebody up. They might have. I just haven't paid that much attention, I guess. But I don't know what he looked like during the preseason. I haven't read anything about him showing any promise or anything like that. Maybe the whole entire time they had him on the fence to begin with. But as far as I'm concerned, the past couple of years, he's been a pretty decent pass rusher for us. So pretty weird in my opinion. But hey, I'm not Bob Quinn, so we'll see what happens with that.
Zetto recorded 6.5 sacks last year and started all 16 games, something that you really don't see much out of in pretty much any defense anymore. At least one guy sits one game out, knowing how they try to rest players in this day and age. The Lions picked up Romeo Okwara from the Giants, in a corresponding move to waiving Anthony Zetto.
Better than picking up and dropping that one guy from Tampa Bay, man of like 12 hours.
Yeah, I'd actually tweeted the Lions the very famous Abe Simpson gif. Him walking into the bar, him walking out of the bar. So that being said, Lions-Jets. I will say to those in the fantasy leagues that are watching this show, on the Jets depth chart, the starting running back is Isaiah Crowell. Not Bilal Powell, not Trenton Cannon, not Lawrence Thomas. Isaiah Crowell is the starter. So I'm not sure if that helps Seaberg or you or Chad. Definitely not me, but I just wanted to say that for the Recliner League. Isaiah Crowell is the first-string starting running back for the New York Jets per their depth chart on NewYorkJets.com.
Does that honestly really matter too much with that offensive line they have? I don't know how well he is catching passes out of the backfield, but I don't know if I'll pick any offensive players from this Jets team.
I will say I drafted Robbie Anderson. That was because he had an impressive season for the Jets standards, I should say, last year. I believe I picked up one of the running backs. I'm not sure, but he isn't starting on my team, and more of reserves. But I did pick up Anderson because he was the number one guy there. But once again, Isaiah Crowell is your number one starter. So if that helps Seaberg or anyone on the league, there you go. Argument over. With that being said, Lions-Jets, how does this play out?
I really do think they are going to win. There's so much I feel like Patricia did. So yes, it did look pretty out. In fact, it looks the exact opposite of pretty this whole entire preseason. But you know what? They're going to have the starters in all four quarters. They should be up to game time speed. I mean, Monday night, everybody's going to be more pumped up, ready to go. And I feel like for these preseason games, I feel like Patricia was still trying to get his feet under him. And it took a little bit longer than what I hoped for. And I hope that he does have hitting the ground running a little bit better here to start this game. Well, we have no idea how well his play calling is going to be, what his defensive scheme is going to be like. But, I do feel like the Lions should win this game.
And I do agree with you on that. Like you said, if Detroit doesn't win this game, then God forbid this is going to be a long season.
And let's hope that this starting offensive line is what they are on paper than what they have been this whole entire
preseason, yes. With that being said, the offensive line at times looked better, but of course those times were few and far between. And of course, as Jordan has reminded me throughout this preseason, it's only the preseason.
Yep.
As I told Jordan...
I know that for a fact.
As I had told Jordan, and of course my facts might not be 100% on this, but the Lions played in Baltimore in their dress rehearsal game a few years ago. I believe it was the 11-5 year, and as I just stated, they finished 11-5 and made the playoffs that year. So they could look terrible in their third preseason game and still make the playoffs. Heck, this time the backups won the game in Tampa for the third preseason game.
And that was fun, sure, but you know what? It's like I said, just preseason.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. All I care about is really individual performances and how we kind of looked on the eye test.
And one of the I think it was POD Justin, I think it was, had tweeted that Patricia had given up going for the win in favor of starting positions. Ironing out those guy 42 through 53, if you know what I mean.
Which I get, but you know what? You're still in a game situation. You should still try to win the game for what you got on the field, Yes, it is a glorified practice, but it's still a game situation. You try to win the game. Unless it's like you are going to do absolutely ridiculous, like, I don't know, like 3 outside kicks in a row, and sure, it ain't that, but you should still at least have the mindset of still trying to get the W.
And of course, I'm going to play a little sound bite from a coach that one of our buddies, Tyler Jacobs' team, has to play this weekend, Herman Edwards.
This is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it. That's the great thing about sports. You play to win. And I don't care if you don't have any wins. You go play to win. When you start telling me it doesn't matter, then retire. Get out. Because it matters.
Herman Edwards saying it best. It matters.
I had a feeling you're going to play that soundbite fight.
Of course. Jordan, if for those who are new to the Tom Green podcast, Jordan and I have been buddies since middle school. I mean, it's, dare I say it on here, with the pretty much the only thing that's going to stop us from being friends is if somebody does something to the other's family. That's pretty much how close we are. So, that being said, he knew Jerry well. You play to win the game. Jordan's doing another face palm on the other side of the camera.
You got it.
Well, that being said, score predictions, Lions-Jets. Will I be happy Monday night? Short answer is yes, but will I be happy with the game?
I'm looking on the line right now. Point spread right now is 6.5 towards Detroit. And for an NFL, that's pretty decently big. Like, close to a touchdown or more is usually pretty big. I personally feel like this will be one touchdown, one field goal game where Lions will win. I'm just throwing this out there, not really knowing 100% how well the Jets really are going to look or the Lions are going to look, but just my gut feeling and how much better of a roster we have than them, minus maybe the interior defense, maybe.
Yeah.
Let's go with a 28-17 line.
28-17 Lions, already. The last time Detroit played on Monday night to open the season was against the Giants in Jim Caldwell's first game as head coach of the Detroit Lions. Yes. And that turned out to be a blowout towards the Detroit Lions. Correct me if I'm wrong, it was like 35-7.
I can look at real quick, but that probably is about right.
So that being said, Jordan, of course, thinks I'm delusional anyway because that's just me, but I honestly could see that happen again. And it's because home crowd, Monday Night Football in Detroit, Matt Patricia's first game, the hype. Who knows? I mean, if Sam Darnold looks good, and if Sam Darnold could attack our defense, which our defense is vulnerable still, we still don't know how Pasqualoni and Patricia's scheme will work. But if Sam can knife through that defense, perhaps this could be a very different game. But I'm going to say Lions 31, Jets 10. I think Detroit's going to come out and make a statement in this game. But of course, you'll have the same old Lions fans thinking, oh, it was just one game, just one win. They haven't won a playoff game since 94. Whatever. Which, as Jordan and I both know, which we are not SOL fans. We get tired of hearing that. We want to see them win just as much as they do, but we get tired of hearing that.
Well, I would love to see that big of a blowout, but I do honestly feel like, especially in the first half, maybe there's definitely going to be a good amount of sputtering on the offensive side of the ball. It's going to be a while before we really get going, but I do feel like our offense is good enough that once we get our feet under us, it's going to be pretty hard for us to stop our offense.
Alrighty.
But I'm not picking as big of an upset, or not upset, as big of a deficit or that we're going to win by as you are.
Once again, Jordan's the level-headed guy. I'm just a delusional guy. With that being said, we turn to the segment that most of you guys have been looking forward to, and that is the rapid fire segment. We have 8 games this week, just like last week. And in the guest version of rapid fire, our winning percentage is 750. Robert Wilson, our fantasy football guy, got 6 out of the 8 games right for a 750 winning percentage. So Jordan has to match that or pass him to be in the lead for the prize at the end of the year, which will not exceed $25, as I want perhaps professionals to get in on the game too. Like last season, as you probably know, Aaron, or my Ohio drinking buddy, won a case of beer as his prize, which I would think that'd be an appropriate prize for Jordan too, but he has to win it first.
I'll be completely happy with 24 racket buds. I'll be happy with that.
There we go. So, rapid fire games. We have a few interesting ones this week. Of course, Jordan has got a minute to analyze and pick this game, and I'll do the same. First one, out west, USC Stanford.
USC Stanford. Man, all right. And who's at home for this one?
It is in Palo Alto.
All right. Well, I'm drawing a blank here.
Stanford.
Who's at home? Stanford.
Yes.
All right. I'm not 100% knowledgeable about both teams. Stanford. Neither of these teams are ranked, if I'm not correct, right?
They are both ranked. I forget where they're ranked, but they are both ranked.
Okay. Okay, I see now. Okay. Well, Stanford is favored by 5, mostly as I probably like to believe that they're the home team. Both teams have won their first game. I'm just going to go with the home team here to just stick with Stanford.
In the words of Lee Corso, great pick. I like Stanford at home. Stanford has defended their home turf the best out of all Division I teams. Yes, that includes our beloved Wolverines. Stanford 27, USC 20. An interesting one, a close line, Fresno State, Minnesota.
You know what? I'm just going to say it right now. Row to boat, baby. Go PJ Fleck. Minnesota's going to win.
I was actually quite surprised to see this be this close of a line. When I declared the games, it was a 1.5 point line to Minnesota. Row, the boat. Give me the PJ Fleck Gophers 24-21.
They won their first game, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, they did.
That's right. That's what I thought.
A game that most of our state buddies will be, well, actually all of our state buddies will be looking at, Michigan State, Arizona State. The question is, can they stay up that late?
Yeah, right. That's the thing. I did read a stat one time that somebody posted a little while ago that a Big Ten team has never gone to Arizona State and come out with a victory.
I believe that was David Harns. iSports Dave said that, or somebody else. Big Ten teams are 0-7 in Tempe.
And I'd like to know who those 7 teams were, because I feel like
one of them I can tell you was Nebraska 98 or 99, because my buddy Adam Dustin told me that. Well, of course, Nebraska wasn't a Big Ten team back in 97, 98, but still, if we're talking Big Ten, Nebraska's in the Big Ten.
And, if I'm a state fan after that state performance last Saturday against Utah State, I am feeling pretty worried, but you know what? D'Antonio's got to have his guys ready. Jet won't let too much. I do feel as if State's going to be coming out with a big fire under their ass, and they're going to be coming out hot. They're going to win Arizona State touchdowns, but make it 28.
So you're going with State. I say, and of course this won't surprise Jordan, not so fast, my friend. Arizona State has looked quite impressive to me against UTSA. Granted, UTSA, but still, Arizona State looked quite impressive in their opener. State did not. I do expect State to come out with more fire, like you had said, but with Big Ten teams being 0-7 in Tempe, I'm going to make it 0-8. ASU 31, MSU 21. And our last college football game, Georgia, South Carolina.
Georgia, South Carolina.
This one surprisingly became a ranked versus ranked because I had to add this in last night.
Right. Well, that's another good game. Who's the home team here?
It is at Williams-Brice Stadium, South Carolina.
Oh, man. Tough one. You got to go with Georgia. They're coming off a very great season, almost won the national championship. They got stuff to prove, and I feel like South Carolina ain't going to get in their way. They're favored by 10. You know what? They're going to come out looking hot again. They're going to win it 21-7. But you know what? It's definitely a trap game for them going to South Carolina.
What's going to help Georgia in this game, and I say great pick, and it's because it's a 3:30 game. It's not a night game. If this were to be at South Carolina at night, I would be scared if I were a Georgia fan. But since it's a 3:30 game, the atmosphere won't be as electric. This is as Jordan knows, this is the perfect tailgater game because it's 3:30. You can watch the noon games while you're tailgating. Give me Georgia 24, South Carolina 14. Going to the NFL now, Thursday night, tomorrow night. Atlanta, Philly.
Atlanta, Philly. Oh, boy. That is a very, very tight game. Carson Wentz coming back. I feel like he's got a lot of things to prove.
Not quite. Nick Foles starting in week 1.
Nick Foles starting, okay.
And Doug Peterson was quite adamant about that, about the quarterback situation in the media, as you have probably had seen.
That's it, too. Oh, boy.
I got him stumped.
Without Carson Wentz, Nick Foles still playing. Very, very, very potent offense, a very good defense. Hard for Atlanta to go in on opening Thursday night on a short week, kind of. I don't know when their last preseason game is, but definitely not as much time to prepare Sunday and Monday night games.
Actually, there was 2 weeks to prepare, as all preseason games were the Thursday before Labor Day, if that matters.
Well, I just can't go against Philly here. Give me Philly by a touchdown.
And it didn't matter really when the last preseason game was. I still say great pick. I don't see Atlanta winning in Philly. Not like Kansas City did in New England last year on Thursday night to open up the year. Philly will run they won't run the Philly special, but you'll get a Philly special of cheesesteaks if you're out there at the game. Cheesesteaks sound good right now. Philly 27, Atlanta 13. Tennessee, Miami.
Tennessee, Miami. All right.
Kind of a barn burner there, I know.
Oh, yeah. That one. That's at 1 o'clock kickoff, along with all the other teams in Miami. I tell you what, though. Marcus Mariota, especially this upcoming year with the amount of weapons that he's going to be having around him, I really do feel like one of the more underappreciated quarterbacks right now. I feel like it's been a good while, but this year is going to be his coming out party. And guess who else is on that team who I'm rooting for?
Corey Davis.
My boy, Corey. And you know what? We'll give it another 2 years from now, he's going to be a top 5 receiver in the NFL, I feel like.
I could see it. I really could.
Yeah.
So with that being said, you're still going with Miami? Tennessee is favored by just a little bit. And you know what?
Mariota's going to be making this a statement game. I'm going to say Tennessee wins 21-17.
I like that pick. I should also mention last year in the playoffs, of course, Giselle says, you can't throw and catch a touchdown pass at the same time. Marcus Mariota says, hey, girl. Tennessee 27, Miami 20. And once again, Jordan, facepalm.
Of course.
Washington, Arizona.
Man, he's making really tough ones.
AP joining his AP
there.
against his former team.
I'm not too. Is Josh Rosen starting yet? I'm not. Is that true?
I have not heard either way, honestly. I'm going to assume yes.
If he is starting, yes. Larry Fitzgerald's getting older. Yes, it's in Arizona. I'm gonna have to go with Washington here.
We'll go with Washington. I'm actually going to say not so fast on that, and it's because Arizona likes to use Fitzgerald in the slot more than wide out, and Norman's a corner, and Norman likes to go out. However, that really doesn't make much of a difference because they'll have Norman in on Fitz. Anyway, if you remember the Detroit-Minnesota game at Minnesota from last year, they had Rhodes on Tate. However, Jones was able to get some great yardage against Sherrills, I believe. Give me Arizona 31, Washington 21. But don't fear Alex Smith, though. Alex Smith could do some great things in Washington. We'll see how that plays out. And our final rapid-fire game, the second Monday night game, John Gruden's debut. He's debuting the Spider 2-Eye Banana for the first time in 11 years, man. Rams Raiders.
Gruden really screwed up by letting go Khalil Mack. I don't know the exact details for what was going on there between him and Oakland, but I tell you, that's one thing I wish the Lions were able to pull off instead of the Bears. Was getting Khalil Mack in that defensive backfield, not backfield, but linebacking core. But you know what? Oakland home, but Los Angeles, look out for them this year. They are absolutely loaded. No way Oakland's going to be winning this game.
So you're going with the Rams then?
I'm going with the Rams.
The Rams have struggled on Monday Night Football to open the season. If we remember just a couple years ago, when Aaron Donald got kicked out and Donald smacked his helmet to the ground in disgust, losing 28-0 to San Francisco that week. I do agree with you that the Rams are loaded, and I think that they will challenge for that NFC. As I got a Rams buddy Alex DeWitt that will be coming on the show at a later week, and he'll brag about his Rams probably till he dies, but still, he's going to brag about his Rams. I'm going to say not so fast though. Raiders at home. I like the Raiders at home. Last season in Oakland, I'm going to say Oakland 27-24.
It could be a push. Oakland could be coming up pretty fast. But LA, man, they are one of those teams I feel like they're just got to go on that Super Bowl run.
Perhaps, well, dare I say it, maybe a Rams-Niners championship? NFC?
That'd be interesting.
The Jimmy G train would be rolling then, that's for sure. So, with our rapid-fire segment complete, my final question is, do you have anything else to add to this exclusive and awesome Tom Green podcast?
Nothing really, but other than it was great to be on. You're doing a great job with the podcast. Go Lions, go Wolverines, and go Western. I do hope the Wolverines do win, though, against Western. I hope Western makes a statement saying that they're not as bad as what they looked at first half against Syracuse.
There we go. So, he is Jordan Bennett, and this has been another grand edition of the Tom Green Podcast.